What's up everyone? So in today's video we're going to be talking all about niches and the positives and negatives of choosing a niche and how you can choose your niche. But before we jump into the video, I just want to share a quick story with you. So pretty much exactly a year ago to this very day, I was not here in Bali. I was actually in Belgrade in Serbia, and I was still in a job. I was still working for someone. So I didn't have my business. I didn't have any of this that I have now. And I wasn't ready to launch a business. It's something that I was thinking about, but I did have one really good thing. So I had an audience, and I had a niche focused audience. And that is what enabled me 1 month later in May of 2018 to launch my own business and to scale, well, not to scale, but to bring in a very good first month. Was all because of the niche that I had chosen and the audience that I'd built in that niche. So today we're going to be talking about the power of niches, how to choose a niche, the positives and negatives of niches. So let's go sit down and talk about that. Okay, so before we get into talking about niches, we're going to be talking about the positives and negatives of choosing a niche, and we're going to be talking about how you can choose a niche. But before we do that, I just want to say, if you are new here, then welcome to my channel. My name is Dylan Hay. I am a digital marketing agency owner, and I also coach and consult other people just like you on building out their personal brands to help them generate additional revenue for their business. So if you are new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. If you find this video useful, press the like button too. It will just make sure that this video gets seen by even more people. We recently finally crossed the 1,000 subscriber mark here on YouTube, which I'm super excited about, super thankful for. So all of you who have been here since the beginning, thank you. Next stop is 2,000. Let me know in the comments down below how quickly you think we're going to get there and when we're going to get there. And that's it. So let's get into today's video. For those of you that don't know me, my marketing agency, we focus specifically and only on helping SaaS and software businesses generate additional revenue, scale their lead generation systems through paid acquisition. So when I say paid acquisition, I mean we're focusing on their Google ads campaigns and their Facebook ads campaigns. So we just work with SaaS businesses, that is it. Before I launched my own business, I worked for a couple of successful SaaS companies, and as I said to you in the intro, I'd built out my own personal brand and an audience who were interested in SaaS, and that really helped me to successfully launch my business from the beginning. So that's a little bit about me, my business, and what my niche is. But I wanted to sit down and record this video today because some of my coaching clients, some people that have just joined my beta program, and just general people will often ask me, okay, should I choose a niche? How do I choose a niche? And which niche should I choose, right? And those are three very different questions. And we could talk about this for a very long time. So I'll try and keep this as brief and action-packed as possible. And we're going to start by talking about the positives of choosing a niche. Then we'll talk about the negatives, because I do also think, depending on where you're at in your business journey, your digital marketing journey, there are positives, but there are also negatives of choosing a niche as well. So one of the biggest positives of choosing a niche, one of the reasons why I did this, and something that has really helped me grow and scale as quickly as I have done, is because once you pick a niche, you can then really push yourself and position yourself. I talk about positioning a lot to my coaching clients. You can really position yourself as an expert within that specific niche. So a practical example is myself last year, I won an award, or I was recognized as one of the top 50 SaaS people within the UK. And that award, it went into my LinkedIn profile. I talk about it with new clients, and that positions me as an expert within SaaS. That, along with some of the speaking engagements that I land as a result of my positioning, which we'll talk about later on. But that, along with some other stuff, helps me attract and retain more clients, because I can be seen as someone within SaaS who focuses purely on SaaS and is starting to become an expert in that niche. Now, if you don't have a niche, yes, you can position yourself and become seen as an expert within, let's say, digital marketing or social media management or paid ads or whatever it is that you do. But think about how many other people there are that run a Facebook ads agency versus how many people there are that run a Facebook ads and Google ads agency specifically for SaaS companies. Or for you guys, it might be for restaurants or for car dealerships or for e-commerce stores. That's a popular one right now. So just think about that for a second. That's one of, for me, the big positives of having a niche focused business, is that as the founder, as a CEO of this company, I can become an expert within this field, and that helps us continue to attract more clients. So that's number one. Then the second one, this is something that I've noticed especially more recently. Up until a couple months ago, every single lead for my own business came to me inbound through my own personal branding. You guys know how focused I am on personal branding. But whenever I tried to do maybe a cold email campaign or a LinkedIn outbound campaign, they would always do okay, but unless you have a real clear focus, you're not going to see the best results that you could. So once we really focus just on paid ads campaigns for SaaS companies, and once you guys focus on one specific niche, whether that's a restaurant, car dealership, e-commerce, or whatever it might be, once you have that niche focus, when you're doing any kind of outreach to other businesses, any messaging in your content or your social posts, it can be so much more focused. And when your messaging is more focused, it can really speak to your target buyers a lot faster and easier. And that is also going to help you, in my opinion, attract additional customers for your agency or your business, whatever it is that you do. So that is the second big benefit of having a niche focused business, is that you can be laser focused in your targeting and your messaging, whether it's when you're running ads, doing outreach, having conversations with people. You can be so much more focused. And if you have a non-niche focused business, like a wider net, you're not going to be able to be as specific with your messaging. And then the third and final thing that I'm going to talk about today for the positives of having niche focused business is that I think it just makes it so much easier to land other exciting opportunities. So I've been able to speak at lots of cool events, especially last year. Like I spoke at an event in Ukraine, in Belgrade, in London, and that was as a result of having this niche focus, and of course my personal brand too. It can help you land other paid opportunities. If you have a niche business and you're an expert within that niche, you'll start to have opportunities like consulting open up for you. That's something that I've done a lot with my business over the last 12 months now, is a number of consulting deals. And you'll also get opportunities to be on things like podcasts and YouTube interviews and series and stuff like that. So for me personally, I think having a niche focused business is really, really beneficial and really powerful. But there are also some negatives too. So we'll talk about those right now. I think I was kind of lucky, right? I'd worked for a number of SaaS companies and I had that experience. So when I decided to launch my own business and focus on that niche, it was an easy transition for me, and it was easier for me to make myself seen as this expert and someone that really knows what they're doing within this niche. But if you're just starting your business and you have no previous experience anywhere else, it may take you longer to build up this credibility if you're going to be niche focused. Because if you are, let's say, running a Facebook ads agency, a social media management agency, and you don't have a specific niche that you're targeting, it might be easier for you to bring on initial business to begin with, because you can take on different clients from different areas. But that also has its negatives, because you'll be able to charge less, and you'll be kind of scattered all over the place. You won't be able to have any clear processes or specific things that you run the same way on each and every client account. So that's one negative though, that it could take you a bit longer to establish your credibility, but you just have to be patient with these things, because I think it's definitely worth it in the long run. Then the second thing is, once you become niche focused, you can end up turning down a number of opportunities. And I know some of you, me included, sometimes find it hard to say no to exciting things. I often get a lot of people approaching me, asking me if I'll have a call with them, run their campaigns for them, look at something for them, and now I have to turn them away because I don't work with those businesses. And at the time, it can be difficult, and especially if you're early and you're trying to generate some quick revenue, it can be hard to say no. But long term, I definitely think it's the best decision that you can make. So that's the second thing. The third thing I'm not sure about, but I think potentially it could be more difficult to scale the business to a huge point when you're niche focused. I don't know, I'll work that out. But I feel like, let's say me focusing on SaaS companies, of course there are hundreds and thousands of SaaS companies, so it's not like I'm going to have an issue scaling or growing, but there is a limit and a cap to those, whereas there are many more other kinds of businesses. So that is one potentially negative thing, but I don't know. I think that's only if you take this to a huge level, and it depends how big that you want to get to. And then the third and final thing is, when you're trying to think about picking a niche, a negative of having a niche can be there are so many options. How do you know where to start? How do you know what you enjoy? How do you know what you can deliver on, etc.? And that leads fairly nicely into the kind of ending point of this video. And this is a question that I get asked every so often. I'm not going to say all the time, but every so often by my coaching clients, and sometimes by you guys in the comments of these videos and on Instagram, etc. And that is, how do I actually choose a niche? And Choosing a niche isn't something that I can just sum up in like 2 or 3 minutes. I'll do my best to do that, but choosing a niche takes time and you have to really think these things through. But I'm going to give you a few tips to help you on the way to begin choosing that niche. So the first thing is, I want you to sit down and I want you to think about, do you have experience with any specific industries or niches? If you've had your business for a while, or you've just started but you used to work in different jobs, are there any industries where you've worked and had good results, or where you've really enjoyed? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what is it that you actually enjoy doing? Gary Vee talks about this a lot, about just working on what you enjoy, and I agree with that to a point, but I also think you shouldn't just look for something that you enjoy, because that can be very difficult. But think about the kind of things you enjoy, whether it's the kind of businesses you like working with, the kind of people you like working with, and the kind of projects you like doing. And that can help you when you're looking to choose and define your niche a bit more. And then the next thing is, go away and actually do some research. When you're picking a niche, you don't want to pick a niche that's like dying or is not having as much traction anymore. You can use things like Google Trends to search for search volumes and see how much people are searching for things. So let's say I wanted to work with e-commerce companies. I could go to Google Trends, I can search for e-commerce, and I can see if that trend is picking up. If you wanted to work with, I don't know, coffee businesses, matcha businesses, like search for that, see if the trend's picking up and going upwards. If it is, that's probably a good sign, because if you're trying to build out a business, you want something that is busy and active right now and is going to continue to grow. And then the next thing I want you to do, if you have a team, or if you utilize contractors to help you do your delivery for client work, go and talk to them and find out where they've had their best results. And you can then use their results as case studies if you don't already have case studies, and you can target specific companies based on where your team and contractors have had good results. And that can be a good way for you to choose and define a niche as well. So that's it. One final kind of piece of a recommendation that I want to leave you with is, if you're new to this, if this is your first business, or you're just starting out, or you're considering choosing a niche, which route to go down, I don't think you can expect to just pick one niche and it to take off straight away and be the right one for you. Of course, that's the goal, that's what you want to happen, but it doesn't always work like that. You have to be patient. I always recommend to people when they first start working with me, if they don't already have a niche or a successful business in place, to test 2 or 3 different niches. Try with different ones, try different messaging focused on those specific niches, try reaching out to the founders, the CEOs of those businesses, and see where you start to get the most traction, and just test that for a couple months. And hopefully you'll start to see a clear winner in terms of where you're able to attract the most business, the best business as well, because it's great if you can bring in tons of leads, but you also need to be closing those, and you want them to be good quality leads. And I think after a while of testing, you should be able to find that out. So that's it. That's my advice on how to choose a niche, the positives and negatives of choosing a niche. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button. Drop a comment down below and let me know which niche your business is focused in. Or if you have any questions for me, you can put those in the comments down below as well. I get back to every single one of you. Keep your eyes peeled for more videos from here in beautiful Bali, and let me know if there's anything else specifically you want to see. Thanks for watching this one, and I will see you all again very, very soon for another video.